D&D.
Hang on, I haven't even done the intro. Y'all
I
keep
know,
talking. All of you shut up. Waiting for you to shut up.
D&D.
Hang on.
Welcome back to the podcast. It's my turn to take over the
absolutely
intro.
not. No.
No.
Alright, anyways. Do you actually want me to do it?
Yes.
Alright, I'll actually do it then. Hail and well met. I'm Emma.
I'm Spook.
I don't know what's going on.
That's Jess. And I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons because it has been all that has been on my mind the past couple of days, and I know exactly why.
Why?
So,
Oh god, it's a story.
recently, probably in the last few years or so, I have managed to condition myself that every time I go to our local mall, I always get to buy a set of dice. Every single time.
Dice.
Oh my
Getting
god,
there.
no.
So every time I go, there's a
no.
couple gaming stores that sell dice, and I am a total dice goblin. At this point, I'm a dice dragon because I hoard so much. But I've conditioned myself that every time I go to the mall, I can buy a set of dice. And yesterday, my sister and I went to the mall because she wanted to go get some clothes, and I wanted to get some new shorts for the summer. And I ended up leaving without buying dice. And because I didn't buy dice, all I've been thinking about has been D&D. It is literally all I'm thinking about.
Wow, I could have had new dice today.
Literally, my brain was like, oh, I didn't buy dice. Good, I didn't spend money. And then my brain immediately went to, I should look at websites online and order some new dice.
God.
And now I'm thinking,
I think it's cool.
yes, that's one of my favorites. But I've just been thinking so much about D&D, and I was already thinking about it before because I've mentioned before that I've been working on a one-shot D&D thing I want to DM for a stream one time with some other streamers who are interested, whether or not they've done it before. But it's just D&D. I haven't played D&D in so long, and I just want to do it, and I want to DM so badly again.
I want to DM. If we do
I just
another
want it
D&D
so bad.
campaign, Emma, I'm the one DMing. You DM'd last time.
Well, you
With me
started
going golden.
DMing,
I know, and then we all got...
but it's
Super
fine.
with
It's
work
fine.
and-
I'll DM my thing I want to do for stream, because my whole plan is I want to do the one shot, and if it goes well and people want to continue, then I'll do an actual campaign that we can stream.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I miss D&D so badly. Oh, and my mom also got me a dice tower for my birthday too, which is really nice. And I haven't gotten to use it properly yet.
Man. So today, in Pokemon Go, there was a raid hour, and I messaged my group that I play D&D with, that I play Pokemon Go with, and I was like, hey guys, do you want to do a raid today? Because it's raid hour, may as well. And my sister was like, oh, we would, but we're just about to start D&D. And I'm like, hang on, there's D&D tonight? What? And she's like, no, it's a different group, don't worry. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Oh,
I'm busy, I can't play D&D tonight.
You were so scared.
I was like, oh no, did I completely miss the entire group chat? Because my brother-in-law is the DM, and he's very adamant about everyone being on time and all that stuff. And my sister was just away with work, so we always pause whenever she does field work, so she always has to travel and all that stuff, and she's exhausted. So we paused during that, but she's now done, and I thought it was today, and I was like, no, my brother-in-law didn't send me a million messages for me to get me to respond, so it's not today.
Well, that's good.
Because another thing we do is if you're even a minute late, we shame you. So when you join the VC, we're all like, oh, shame. I'm like, I don't want to be shamed today.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually kind of funny, though. Can you imagine that? Just, you're waiting for people to get
really
there
funny.
for DD, one person's, 5 minutes late, and you're like, shame!
No, not even 5. We've had people who are, a minute late. Not even a minute, 30 seconds late, and they join, and we're just, shame! We get ready, too. We watch the time, we're like, okay, guys, it's almost time.
I love that.
We have a gift and everything for it.
That's actually kind of funny.
It extended to, back to Pokemon Go, because we did a raid, and one of the guys who plays in the D&D campaign was late, and so we all shamed him.
Alright, so, I feel like I should explain why I introduced the podcast with Hail and Well Met, though. There's a couple reasons. I feel like I should explain where it first came from and why it's become important to us.
Oh, and then I can explain another thing. You go first.
So, the first thing is the Hail and Well Met thing came from the Adventure Zone podcast that Spook and I both love. And actually, it was the podcast that definitely helped me get into D&D a lot. Helped me learn a lot of D&D as well. But in their campaign, their very first campaign, there's a character named Magnus, and he always introduces himself to people with Hail and Well Met. That's always how he greets people. And so then when we were doing our very first campaign, my very first character I'd ever played, she was a rogue, and we decided to, basically, for me to figure out who was a rogue or who also knew Thieves Can't, we used the phrase Hail and Well Met. So if I said it and a person responded with it, it meant they knew Thieves Can't. So it meant that they were either a rogue or at least they spoke this language. And so so anytime I suspected someone might be either like a rogue or might know this, I would just say it, just like it's like a greeting. And if they didn't say it, if they just said hi or something like that, I'd be like, okay, they don't know the language. But if they said Hail and Well Met back to me, then it meant obviously they knew. And so this one phrase led to the most, like, the saddest but also the sweetest relationship between my character and an NPC that I still to this day absolutely love. Because do you want to explain the whole story?
No, because I'll be honest, I forgot about this until you mentioned it.
So, well, basically what it was in the story.
Was this the character where you walked up to him and you're like, Hail Well Met, and he was like, hi?
No. No, it was the one who actually was able to respond.
I don't remember.
So in this campaign,
was it D?
Yeah, it was D.
Okay.
So in the campaign, basically
Oh, I know why. Okay, sorry.
Me and the players were all of us had lost our memory. We had no idea who anyone was, where we were. We knew nothing, and I realized that this character D had been following us. So I eventually finally confronted her after I saw her again and was like, why the fuck are you following me?
What's your deal?
I was like, what's up? Why are you following me? But the first thing I said was Hail and Well Met, because it took me a second. And I think it was because she helped me in a fight. I suddenly was like, so as soon as the fight was done, I was like, And I said it, and she said it back to me. I was like, it's happening. And
it's time to use the funky language.
And what was really funny was originally when I had said it.
Wait, sorry, before you continue, I feel like we should explain what Thieves Can't is.
So Thieves Can't is basically a like secret language for rogues.
It's not necessarily like a secret language,
but it's like more like
code.
Like
little
it's like code.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's thieves
like
code.
Little things. Yeah, it's little things. Like it can be kind of anything, but it's just little things that only other rogues or people who understand Thieves Can't get. And like I feel like a DM can interpret that in any way they want. Like I know Griffin in the Adventure Zone, like he does it by like hands signal, I think it was, like he like drew on his hand or something like that.
Yeah. So for ours, it was like little phrases like that. So I realized this, and so I said it to her, and then I was like, okay, I have a lot of questions for you. Do we want to like talk? And then I think it was Spook that made a joke, being like, oh yeah, I have a little date. And originally I was literally just thinking,
coffee date.
Yeah, this little coffee date. And I was like thinking, like, originally it was, I'm just gonna meet up with this person, ask them questions, whatever. And because the joke had like was made, that it was just like, oh yeah, you got a little like coffee date. I was just like, well, I mean, it could be a date. And it ended up turning.
And then I was like, yeah, it could be a date.
And then it kind of ended up turning into this whole love story. And it turned out that Dee she knew Arzith, my character, and the rest of our party because she had been with us before, and like she hadn't lost her memory, so basically she had been following us to watch us, and she couldn't explain anything because I believe the explanation was basically if she explained anything it would be too much for our minds and basically kill us. So she couldn't tell us anything until we got our own memory back. But it had turned out the whole time Dee and Arzeth had actually been together. They had like been like a couple, and it was literally like killing Dee because she's like, I know, like, I'm literally in love with you and I can't do anything. And Arzeth was like, yeah, I don't know who you are, but you're cute. But it ended up working out in the end because she even before she had her memory back, there was something in Arzeth who was literally just like, I trust this person. I don't know why I trust her, but there's just something about her that just, I trust her. So it ended up being this really nice little, like, gay relationship, and they ended up adopting this little, like, tiefling girl afterwards. It was a good time. It was a great time. But that's why that phrase became so important to me, was because if I hadn't decided to use that phrase then and there, we wouldn't have gotten to this really, really sweet story for them.
I was like, oh yeah! So with Dee, another thing that made it so romantic and all that stuff was the party and I guess Dee as well in the past, because they went to we didn't know anything because they were in the future and all that stuff.
Yeah, we'd accidentally gotten teleported.
But they were originally from the past, yeah. So in the past, there was this huge war between two sides. And the coolest thing was that Dee was on the opposite side of Arzeth. And yet, she still said, nah, screw that. Literally.
Yeah, her dad was the big bad evil guy. Which, if you don't know what that means, it means he's the main villain. That was her dad, and Arzeth literally ended up killing him.
It's also weird because I feel like we're just giving spoilers, but I'm like, literally.
I know. I was feeling the same way. I'm like, yeah, here's this. I'm like, oh, should I say this is a spoiler? And I'm like, it's not a show. It's a campaign. How, like,
it's like, oh no, you can't say who the big bad evil guy is. Like, yeah, you can.
It's like, yeah,
oh my god, I had you guys like screaming at me.
Oh yeah.
That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
Because there was one night where you guys cast Zone of Truth on the one NPC, Parrish.
Oh,
you were just like bombarding him with questions.
Oh, I loved Parrish. Harry Harrelson.
But you guys were bombarding him with questions, and he just dropped everything. And you guys were like, what?
Yeah, it was honestly so great. It was so one of our friends, who was in our party, her character was a cleric, and one of the spells she got was Zone of Truth, which literally, when you do that, you have to roll a what check is that?
Some sort of check. I can't remember.
Not intelligence. It's the other one. Wisdom?
Wisdom?
Yeah, I think it's wisdom.
Maybe.
But you have to roll a saving throw, and if you roll lower than what her specific number is, I'm trying to explain this. I'm trying to explain this in the most simple terms. Basically, she has a set number. If you roll lower, you have to tell the truth. If you roll higher, you don't have to tell the truth. That's basically the spell. So almost all, I think it was me and Parrish were the ones who rolled low. So we both had to tell the truth. But
it didn't matter for you, really.
Yeah, but then the other two, no, because they did ask me some stuff. But the other two, they rolled high enough. However, because my character is a rogue, I was really good at still getting around the truth. Because I knew how to basically, like, flip it so I'm not necessarily lying, but I'm not telling you the whole thing.
Truth.
Yeah, because I'm a rogue. Like, that's my whole thing. So they were trying to ask me some stuff about Dee and everything, and I was doing my best to get around it, because I'm like, I don't want to admit anything to you people. I still barely know you. But man, did we get some answers out of Parrish. God, I loved him so much. I just still find it funny so Parrish too was also disguised, and my character asked him his name, and Spook didn't think of a name to, like, a fake name, so they literally panicked.
Wait. Can I say this from a DM's point of view?
Yeah.
I had all planned out. They were going into a prison because they were,
the other two had been arrested, and I was trying to break them out.
The other two had been arrested. The other three, because Dee was there as well.
Oh,
but
true.
Everyone had been arrested and thrown into prison, and Arzeth was trying to get them out. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll have Parrish, who was working with the bad guys. Like, the thing with him was he was with the bad guys, but depending on how the party talked to him, like, he could either stay with the bad guys or change over to the good side. That was, like, the whole premise of him. But anyway, so I was like, yeah, he's gonna be in there, in a disguise, like, trying to get whoever it was out, or, like, figure it out. I can't remember. So long ago. But I was like, I had it all planned. I was like, yeah, this is disguise and all that stuff. It's gonna be great. Like, this is why he's here. And then Arzeth was like, yeah, what's your name?
Yeah, and then Spook literally panicked and went, Harry Harrelson. And just, and it was...
You were like, what's your last name? I'm like, Harrelson.
And it was so funny to me, because the fact that you, like, said it like that, even though it was actually you panicking, Arsith took that as, like, this is, like, I was already suspicious, this is worse, and I was like, I gave a look of, like, something is off here. So, like, I had this...
That was 100% in character for Parrish.
Oh, it was 100% in character for Parrish. Parrish would have done something, like, he would have had everything planned, but would have forgotten to fucking get a fake name. But, as you could probably tell, though, from the way I talk about Parrish, we were able to get him onto our side. However, I will say our relationship at the start was very, very bad. he almost immediately started shooting at me, and of course Arla doesn't take that very well, because who takes being shot at very well? So every time she saw him, she would just be enraged and be like, I'm gonna fucking kill this kid. And then eventually she realized...
I cried a lot.
Yeah, and then eventually she realized after... It was actually the same fight where she finally met Dee, that she said something very, very mean, and saw, like, how upset he was and everything, and she felt so guilty, and the next time she saw him was like, I need to do something about this, because clearly he doesn't actually want to be doing what he's doing. Like, there's clearly something else making him do this. And then he ended up on our side, and it was great.
There was.
Oh yeah, there definitely was.
So, I want to go back quickly to you explaining, like, the Hail and Well Met and all that stuff, because there's another term that we use a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That comes straight from the Adventure Zone. So, it was Taco, another one of the characters. He always called everyone, like, the party, the Chuckle Fucks, or just Chuckle Fucks, right? And then I started calling, like, all my friends, including Emma. Jess wasn't in the picture yet, but I started calling everyone Chuckle Fucks, yeah. And then it just kind of caught on, and now we call ourselves the Chuckle Fucks.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to say that we were originally going to call this podcast it was the Chuckle Fucks or something, and right as we were planning it,
Chuckles.
Yeah, and right as we were planning it, fucking Chuckle Sandwich came out.
Yeah, those motherfuckers.
We're gonna take them on.
And we stole it from the Adventure Zone, but whatever.
Ted Nivison, I'm coming for you.
Who's gonna fight who?
Ted Nivison, I'm coming for you. I can take him.
I'm going for Jay Schlatt.
Yeah, I'm going for Slime Skull. I can take him.
I can take Ted.
I can take him. I effortlessly picked up a bin at work today and put it on the counter.
Oh yeah,
you're trading. Shit.
I had to carry a box that was over 22 kilograms today. If I can lift that, I can take Ted.
Hell yeah. Well, okay, this is completely off topic of D&D, but so in 2020 I worked out a lot, right? And I was quite strong. So at work, I was able to pick up all the boxes I had to, and I had no issues. And then stuff happened, and I stopped working out, and I lost a lot of the muscle I had. And so now I struggle to pick up a box. Well, it's not like I can pick up boxes and carry them. It's when I need to lift them up. Like if I have it on my chest and I have to go up anymore, I can't do that. I'm just not strong enough.
Okay, you'll get back there one day.
I'm embarrassed about it. Okay? But anyways, so 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 days ago, excluding today. I started working out again, and first of all, I feel great. And second of all, yeah, I picked up a bin today and brought it above my chest with ease, and I was like, wow, it's only been 2 days of arms, and I already feel strong.
Hell
On the
yeah.
flip side of that, my butt hurts so much. Please help me. And tomorrow, my only workout I have to do is butt.
Good luck. Anyways, I
have strong legs though, so it's fine.
Well, that's all you need.
Can I bring up something before you
go
on, Emma? The reason I'm not talking a lot in this episode is because I didn't get into D&D until the end of everything.
The issue is
that's what I was about to get into. Yeah. That was what I was about to get into actually. What I was about to say.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
No, I was literally about to bring you into this because we've been talking a lot. Because this is exactly what I was going to talk about. So, what I wanted to say was, Jess, so you haven't played D&D nearly as much as Spook and I have.
No.
Because
we finished 2 campaigns, so.
Yeah. Because, obviously, we've tried to do campaigns and things happen and we haven't been able to finish them. But I'm just curious from, the little amounts that you've done, like, what are your thoughts on D&D? Like,
do you like it?
yeah,
do you not like it?
do you like it? Would you try it again? Do you think it's not for you? How do you feel about it? Because I know D&D is definitely not for everyone, but
I love stealing beds from
oh my god.
Yeah, that was the thing.
And singing Queen.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that pretty much sums
making
up.
people cry.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
That poor guy. Was
See,
it his wife that left him? What happened to him again?
I don't remember. All I know is you managed to make a few people cry.
Congrats.
I sang.
You had that bad of a singing voice.
But yeah, like, I'm just...
See, the issue, I guess, maybe not issue, but, like, with our group, I find we like more roleplay and just, like, chill vibes and all that stuff, whereas other people like, planning out, like, bit by bit, how they're gonna defeat the big bad evil guy or something like that.
Yeah.
But we're like, nah, I'm just gonna steal a couple beds, you know?
You want to hear a perfect example of us not having an actual plan and just being like, well, let's see if this works. I have a great example.
Is this the water one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is...
So...
Okay, wait, before we start, I would like to say that, like, my ambition in life is to one day be able to draw really well. And this is one scene that I have pictured perfectly in my mind.
Same.
And is the reason why I want to learn how to draw, because I want to draw this scene. Okay, continue.
So, this is, again, from our very first campaign, which I feel like I've mentioned, Spook DM'd.
Yes.
So, this is our very first campaign we had done. And so we had been going through this temple. Basically, the premise is we were trying to get these 4 amulets that were each, like, a different one of the elements. So, like, fire, water, earth, and air. And we were obviously trying to get the water one, because we were in a water temple.
This was inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Zelda. Thank you.
It was a great campaign. That was a good time.
It was.
So anyways, we had gone in, and we had gone through so much shit. Like, I had knocked out one of our party members because we had these hands attacking us, and I tried to stab it, and I rolled badly, and I missed, and I stabbed them instead, causing them their HP to hit 0, which you don't die when you hit 0. You just get knocked out, and then you have to do death saving rolls unless someone heals you. Anyways, I fucked up. But anyways, they were fine. They got better. So we get to...
Okay, wait, I would like to say the hands had like 1 HP.
Yeah, literally, I could have just smacked it. But I was like, nah, knives. Anyways, so we get to the end of this temple, and we finally get the water amulet. And when we get there, Parrish and I can't remember his name, but one of the other guys, because at the time they were both...
an orc.
Yeah, they were both still working for the
Well, the orc was always the big bad evil guy, like working with the big bad evil
yeah,
guy.
well, at the time, both of them were still working with the big bad evil guy. And so they showed up, and we're like, oh shit, like, we're not gonna be able to beat them in this fight, like, what are we going to do? And then Kaja, our friend, she was the one who had the water amulet. She was the one who was able to use it. And she was like, guys, I think I have an idea. I don't know if this is going to work. So we went into another room to talk about it.
Wait,
and
I would like to say, like, while you guys were planning that, there's 3 of you guys.
Yeah.
Like, 3 players. And you guys were like, okay, we're just going to go into the other room. And we're going to talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in character. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. You guys go talk. And I was like, wait a minute.
You're
I
an
play
NPC.
an NPC on your team. I need to come as well.
Yeah. It was because one of our other friends was also a part of it at the time, but he was not in our party. He was playing another NPC because he joined in late. So he was playing an NPC that was a bad guy.
He was part of the villains who I was kind of like saying like, hey, this is kind of what you have to do this campaign.
Yeah,
like,
he eventually did join in, but it was just because we were halfway into the campaign.
It was like your main goal for this session is just to keep Parrish on your side, and if it seems like he's going to the other side, just start threatening him.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah,
I
so we go into the other room, we start talking about it, and basically what our friend says, she's like, so I have this water amulet, and I can control water. Basically what I want to do is because this temple we were in was also underwater, she was like, I basically want to use enough force of the water to take down the wall and drown everybody. Because we also had these water breathing helmets so that they would give us air. So she's like, we put these on, I'll take down this wall with the water, and we'll just try and drown him. So we're like, oh shit, like, okay, sure, let's see if this works.
You do that. That's cool.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, let's fucking do that. So we go back out, and so she is like yelling at us to put our like, put your helmets on, put your helmets on. And the other guys, like the villains, are like, what are they yelling about? What is happening? And suddenly there's just this loud rumbling, and just all this water just bursts in through the wall of the temple and just starts like pouring in. It's like filling really quickly, and of course the villains, because they can't die yet, have these little gems that they can do squeeze, like break, and like they have these little things that teleports them away. So they get away, we swim out. It at least gets us out of there, which was really what we just needed, because we're like, we're gonna die if we keep fighting them. But it was such a cool thing, like, we're just there like, holy shit, I can't believe this worked. It's like one of those moments in D&D where you're like, holy fucking shit. It's like, because, you know, like, some people really, really want to have their plans, and sometimes you just have to ignore the rules and just let it happen, because you know it's just going to be really fucking cool.
I'm very much a type of DM who doesn't focus on the rules a lot, where it's like, you know what, if this is a really cool idea, like, technically this would not work, but you know what, I don't care, because this is cool as hell.
Exactly, that's
like,
that's kind of what I do, too.
I want more roleplay than... Well, you know, the rule book says.
Yeah,
But however, I am still into the rules and all that stuff, where, like, to help with the game mechanics and all that stuff, I'm like, this is
the rules a little bit,
kind of thing. Yeah. But actually, my friend who's really into D&D was talking to me, because he's more into, like, the rules and all that stuff and making sure it all fits, and I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, if it's cool, go for it kind of thing. Screw the rules. And apparently there's, like, a type of, it's not like D&D, it's another name, like another type of tabletop role-playing game.
I think I know what it is.
Which pretty much is more like role-play focused rather than rule focused. Like, the rules are very, very light, and I want to try playing that.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I'm perfectly fine at doing D&D, because that's the thing with D&D. It's not like one of those things where it's like, you have this set of rules, you have to follow this. It's like, you're just a group of friends having fun. You're like, if this seems like it's gonna be cool, let's just do it. And I like that kind of style, because, like, that's some of the D&D podcasts I listen to are kind of like that as well, and I find them always much more entertaining that way.
I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, I find as well, like, if you kind of mess around with the rules a bit as well, like, that helps. Yeah. Because, like, I feel like Critical Role is very, like, rules-based. However, Matt Mercer is, like, really, he's like he knows the rules like the back of his hand kind of thing, so he's good at that.
One of the best DMs ever.
Oh, yeah. I freaking love Critical Role. It's very, like, professional, though. Yeah. So, like, if you ever watch Critical Role, just know, like, your group won't be like that, but, like, your group will be fine. But, like, stuff like the Adventure Zone and all that stuff, I feel like they're more lax with rules.
Yeah. Well, that's like I said.
And there's benefits to both, and there's downsides to both.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
Critical Role, you get some really cool moments in battle where it's, like, because of this specific rule, they're able to do this. But, like, in the Adventure Zone, because they don't follow the rules to the T, you get really cool roleplay moments that just work.
Yeah, like, it's, like I said, the Adventure Zone and Dungeons and Daddies are two of my favorite D&D podcasts, and, like, they're kind of like that, where they sometimes are like, even if it is breaking the rules, it sounds like it's going to be really cool, so I'm going to let it happen. So, quick spoiler alert for Dungeons and Daddies, so if you don't want to hear it...
No! I'm muting.
I was saying, you definitely... Basically, what I was going to say, so... In one of the episodes, they're fighting a vampire, and literally they take a bag of holding, put it over his head, and close it so it takes his head off, because the inside of a bag of holding is basically a big void. So they literally use it to take his head off. In D&D rules, you can't do that. Like, that would not work in actual D&D rules. But the DM, when he was like, that would be so sick if it worked, I'm gonna let you roll. If you roll well, I'll let it happen. So he rolled really well, or she rolled really well, so they let it happen, and it was such a good moment in that episode. It was so, like, there was so much good role-playing in that episode that I was like, yeah, that's one of those moments where, like, rule-breaking is okay, because it's so much cooler than if you'd be like, no, but that wouldn't work, though, because mechanics. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I gotta tell Spook that they can undeafen now. But yeah,
I don't want to know.
I know, it's
I hate
fine.
Spoilers.
That's why I gave a warning.
It's an extreme spoiler, dude.
But like as my point is that it was one of those moments where it was like, yeah, the mechanics of this would never actually work, but it would be so cool. So if you roll well, I'll let you do it. And they rolled well, so they did it. It was great. It was it just ended up having really good role playing in that episode. It was just overall just a really good episode.
It was a good episode. I know exactly what happened.
Yep, you know everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ever want any good D&D podcasts that aren't as long as Critical Role, like Dungeons and Daddies and The Adventure Zone are both really good ones. And also too, if you
inhaled Critical Role.
and also too, if you used to watch like OG YouTubers and stuff, and you know Freddie Wong, he is a part of Dungeons and Daddies. It's like he's like one of the main people in it, and he mainly runs it. He is so funny, and he like the whole group is really funny. So like if you liked Freddie Wong when you were younger on YouTube, like OG YouTubers, you'll like that Dungeons and Daddies.
I also, going back to the Chocolate Sandwich, the podcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that that Charlie has a D&D podcast. Or
oh yeah, just roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll with it, yeah.
I've been meaning to listen to that. I have it saved. See,
I know, I have so much to listen to.
See, that's the one thing. That's the one thing is I listen to podcasts a lot when I'm going into school because I have to take the train. And it's like hours, so it's like, yeah, that's a good time for me to listen to podcasts. But, anyways,
I remember I was trying to get you into the Adventure Zone, and you're like, I don't know, like, maybe I'll listen to it on the train. And then you listen to like the first episode, you're like, yeah, I'm hooked.
Yeah, it's literally just because when I'm at home, it's hard for me to listen to them because like, there's nothing for me to visually see, whereas if I'm on the train, it doesn't matter as much because I'm just staring out the window and there's nothing else to bother me, so like I could just sit there and listen. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just for some reason being on the train, I can actually listen.
My favorite thing to do when I was listening to the Adventure Zone was to finish class, immediately put my headphones in, and walk back to my room, listening to it, because I would walk through campus, trying not to laugh at something they said.
Oh. Yeah, there were times that I'd be on the train, like, literally my eyes tearing up and me trying to hold in laughter so hard because I'm like, this is so funny, but I don't want to burst out laughing because it's the quiet hours on the train.
That sounds like me, but I was taking the bus and I was not listening to a D&D podcast. I was listening to Chocolate Sandwich.
Yeah. This is one of those things.
No, it wasn't the Chocolate Sandwich. It wasn't around yet. I was listening to their old podcast.
Oh, with the person we will not name.
Yeah, lunch. Lunch.
Fuck! Yeah!
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes listening to podcasts in public is dangerous. If you're listening to this in public, don't worry, it's fine. Keep listening.
Yeah, we're safe for public.
Yeah, we're not funny.
Unless you want me to say fuck out loud and then you're fucked.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I think I'm hilarious.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm currently playing a Roblox game as we record today.
Alright, what game are you playing?
I'm building a boat.
Fantastic!
Thank you.
We've been talking about D&D and this whole time Jess has just been playing Roblox.
Yep. You know, as one does.
Yeah.
Can I buy more No, I can't. I hate this shit.
So badly right now want to talk about this one shot that I've been planning that I want to do with other streamers, but also I don't want to like spoil what I've planned for it.
Oh.
But I so badly want to tell someone.
Tell me! I want to know!
Okay, well. No, but I just mainly need to finish planning out NPCs because I know the basic story. I've got all the maps ready. I just need to basically finish the NPCs and then figure out who's going to be a part of it.
Me.
Sure. I gotta find people.
Choice.
I know I know plenty of other streamers who want to do D&D and just haven't yet, so I could probably get a group together. But yeah, so if you're listening to this and you're a streamer and you want to do D&D with someone, send me a DM on Twitter or Discord if you got me there. Send me a message. Let me know.
So, Jess, are we done talking? Can I need you to do me a favor when this episode comes out. So, for my brother-in-law's campaign, we used Roll20 to make maps and all that stuff because we played online. And so the one fight we had, I don't even remember. Oh, someone resurrected something, like a body. And so my brother-in-law was trying to put something on the map to show that, like, that's where the resurrected dude is. Only he fucked up the scale of it. And let me send this picture to the podcast group. And this is a picture you need to tweet out when this comes out. Hang on, it's uploading. There you go.
Remember, you gotta
That's
get
what
the name,
happened.
though. Oh!
We started singing the Attack on Titan thing. It's like, oh dear.
Oh, no. Well,
Yeah, it kind of got messed up.
just a little bit. Just a tiny little bit.
Just a little bit. For those who do not follow the Twitter, you should. But pretty much what it is that it's this big a picture the like the Attack on Titans or whatever they're called. I don't watch the anime. Picture that.
They're called Titans.
Yeah, I know they're called Titans, but
Yeah.
picture those guys. But one of them is just like takes up, I don't know, what is that, like a 8x8 area on the map?
Yeah.
Like 8x8 squares, whereas we take up 1 square. So picture that. It's just on top looking directly at you.
It's literally, it's just staring into your soul.
Like, so I always play with 2 monitors, right? I have like my character sheet and like spells and all that on one, and then I have Roll20 on the other. Cause I'm fancy. And I was looking at my character sheet when my brother-in-law did that, and I looked over and I was like, oh, what the hell? What is that? What are we fighting?
You're like, oh god, today's the day I die. I feel like we should also talk about too my campaign that I first DM'd. Because I've talked about like a lot about yours that we first DM'd, that you first DM'd, but yeah, go for it.
I have a very vivid memory. So I was saying earlier that I really wanted to draw the one scene from my campaign.
Mm-hmm.
There's one scene that I really want to draw from your campaign, and I don't know why, but this one stuck with me. So it was sort of like a piratey theme, like Uncharted, pretty much.
Yeah, it was.
That's where you get the
It was
inspiration,
a lot of inspiration from Uncharted.
So I remember we
Specifically the 4th game.
Yeah. My memory is spotty. You'll have to forgive me.
I'll help
But we
you.
docked. Yeah, we docked at this one area, and like our crew went up the beach and all that stuff, and up some stairs and all that stuff. And then I remember that the big bad evil guy and his crew showed up, and I have like a vivid picture of how I want to draw it, but it's like our group is standing on top with like the evil guys kind of just slightly down, but it's like the background is really peaceful because we're on a beach and all that stuff, and it's like really calm. But like in that moment, it was kind of like, you guys aren't attacking us. Why are you guys not attacking us, kind of thing? Because I always had suspicions that the big bad evil guy wasn't really the big bad evil guy, because I was like, this dude's just too nice. Like, he doesn't give me the vibes.
He was too
of someone who
morally
wants to
gray.
kill us. Too morally gray, where I was like, yeah, you're sus. And then, like, he just kind of showed up and, like, just looked at us, and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then he didn't. The others did come after you, but he didn't.
Yeah.
I will say, so yeah, I will say though that you
That's the
were
picture I
like you
wanna
guys
draw.
like you guys were right. He wasn't the big bad evil guy.
I
It was
nailed it.
yeah. It was this character I had who his name was Azazel. He was a part of the pirate crew that their party had joined, and he was basically like the right-hand man of the captain Warren. And
I thought you were gonna say the big bad evil guy.
no, like he was, but he was like the right-hand man of Warren for the pirate crew, but he was the actual big bad evil guy, and he was using them to find this lost city because basically this city, he was the son of who they thought was the big bad evil guy, and his wife who were the king and queen.
Big bad evil guy.
Yeah, so he was he was the
You
son. And
copied my
yeah, but
campaign, bitch.
yours wasn't. Yeah, but yours didn't turn out to be the fucking bad guy, did he?
True, I turned out to be the love interest.
Yeah. So it turned out. So the guy that they thought was the big bad evil guy, his name was Mercury. So he was the king of this lost city, and his wife, who was the queen, had banished him and Azazel. But because Azazel had basically, it's a whole bunch of demon shit, had basically put a demon into Mercury, and he fucked up a lot of shit, made them both immortal. It was just so much shit.
As you do.
Yeah, so much shit he fucked up. It was basically, and he killed his sister, basically because even though he was first in line, they were going to give the crown to his sister instead because he was so fucked up, and they're like, we don't want him ruling this place, and of course he lashed out and was like, what the fuck do you mean I'm not gonna be king? So he killed his sister, and then basically tried to take over or whatever, but his mom was too powerful, banished both of them, because even though she didn't want to banish her husband, he was possessed, and, like, she couldn't risk the city, like, the entire kingdom being destroyed by them. But anyway, so he was trying to find it because he couldn't figure out where it was because she basically also wiped their memory of, like, where it is. So they knew it existed, and he knew he wanted to get back, but the location just completely gone. So he had been using them the whole time to get there. And yeah, when I finally revealed that Azazel was the big bad evil guy, oh man, that was a good time.
Two others.
That
Two
was
others who were in our group. They knew this from the beginning, and they were screaming at you.
Oh, they were screaming because there were multiple times where there were multiple times where they suspected it, and there were I always had these things where I was like, no, like, I wasn't the bad guy, like, I swear, like, I made some mistakes, and because, like, they knew he had been working with Mercury before, but that he had left them, and he basically did his best to explain, so they were always suspicious of him, but they're like, we'll let it slide for now. And then, yeah, it turned out that he was actually the big bad evil guy. And I think my favorite part was when they thought they had finally killed him, and then he turned into a fucking lich.
Have we mentioned on this podcast what I
No, but I would love to explain that.
Yes, I don't even know if you know this. This is so funny.
Actually, do you want to explain it? Do you want to explain
I
it?
can explain
Okay,
it.
you do it. Yeah.
So you
It
can
was
fill in
fucking
the bits that I
hilarious,
don't
yeah.
remember. But pretty much, so my character, his boyfriend was Warren, who was the pirate captain. And at
More
the
gay
last
characters.
battle, at the last battle when was it Azazel who did this, or I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was Azazel. Yeah.
Yeah. So Azazel, I don't remember what spell it was, but it was the one that
power
instantly
word kill.
kills you.
Power word kill.
Power word kill. And
It is. I should say it's a level 10.
Yeah.
It's literally a level 10 spell, which is the highest level of a spell.
yeah, and you
it
pretty
is-
much kill them instantly.
Yeah, power
You
word
do
kill.
them
Literally,
instantly.
yeah. It literally, you say one word and that person instantly dead.
Yeah, so
That is how
no,
powerful that
I thought
spell is.
I thought you hit them with a disintegrating spell.
No, it was that, but I said that when he did it,
No.
he hit.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so what happened is that Azazel used that, and it wasn't like aimed at Warren, right? It was like aimed at someone else, and then it hit Warren instead.
No, it was aimed at Warren. The
Oh.
other thing you're thinking of was
Okay.
Bellatrix.
Okay,
Because
so
he was locked on to killing
sorry
Warren.
again. My memory is
I
spotty.
can help you with the Bellatrix thing too, but
No, so yeah, Azazel used the spell, and it hit Warren, and then I was like, wait, no, he's dead! And I got so angry that I threw, what was it, my cup at
yeah,
you?
it was a plastic, like a red solo cup. It was a red solo cup. You threw it and hit me square in the forehead, and it was
You had a
so
big
funny.
red spot on your
It was
forehead. I
so
like, oh, shit, I
funny.
just-
Like, you literally got so
was so
angry.
I
I
remember.
was like, screw you,
being
that's
told
my
this.
boyfriend, I just chucked it at you.
The best
I
part
remember
too.
you guys mentioning this in like a VC just randomly. I don't know what we were talking about, but
Hey,
you
remember
just
when
said
I threw
it.
the cup at your head because you killed my
And
boyfriend?
The best part too is I had this character that they had met early on who's this witch who's like, she was incredibly powerful, who basically it was able to find them because this huge like fire elemental had escaped, and she was like, well, I'm gonna basically follow his path and figure out where he came from because they had been attacking the city above ground, and she found them, and I was planning on this anyways, of her showing up, and it was just like the perfect way for her to get there. But I was planning on her bringing anyone back in the party who had died anyways. But it was
But I
so
still threw
funny.
them at you.
It was so funny because like when I said it, you got pissed. Everyone else was like, "What?" And I was sitting there laughing. It's like there's this red mark on my forehead. You were fucking angry as hell. It was so funny to me because like multiple people. Like, multiple NPCs that have been working with you since the beginning got killed during that battle, but I brought them all back.
But I only care about one person.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was,
Stupid.
But, yeah, it was the thing that you were saying where he was trying to do the spell and it missed it. So that was actually him. So he was attacking Warren, but he, missed because Warren had gotten out of the way and it hit Bellatrix, and that literally disintegrated her. Like, she literally turned to ash, and again, Bellatrix is this NPC, had been with you from the beginning, part of the pirate crew. Everyone loved her.
She was cool. I loved her.
Yeah, she was great. She was an orc rogue. She was fantastic.
Yeah, we were orc buddies.
Yeah.
Well, I was a half orc, but we were orc buddies.
No, she was a half orc too.
Was
Yeah, she was a half orc, sorry. Yeah. But I absolutely loved doing that campaign. It was my first time DMing a whole campaign, and it was so much fun. And, like, all of that, and I should also mention, too, I don't know if I ever actually said it, but the whole reason Azazel did the instant orc kill on Warren was specifically because of, like, your character, Oscar.
I hate you.
That was exactly why he did it, because he was like, yeah, this is gonna fucking kill Oscar, so might as well take it. It's just like, because I know, like, going after Oscar, they're not gonna care, but if I go after Warren.
Spook was having a great day, and now you brought this back up.
It was.
Hey, you got him back in the end, and you got married.
Yeah,
It was still painful.
Yeah, it was.
See, that's
yeah.
one of my rules as a DM as well. Is that no matter what happens, I always make sure my players have a good ending, like a happy ending where everything like works out.
Oh yeah, as a
Never
DM.
been to the ending of any D&D campaign yet.
As a DM.
For you.
As a DM, I always
One
want no matter what for the party to win. Even if it means there's going to be a lot of sad things, a lot of death and everything, I still want the party to win in the end. No matter what I do.
Yeah. I will fuck you up though.
Oh yeah, I will fuck you up because it is my your whole thing
The
is
one
that
time I
DM
killed
is
you
too.
guys.
Yeah, you did kill us. We literally were
Remember when
laying
you
there
guys
all
died
dead
the
with just
first campaign.
we all died and Dancing Queen played as my disco light hat was just flashing and all of us were laying there dead.
Yeah, and you guys are like, well, now we're dead, and I was like, yeah, but wait.
But you're not though. That was a whole
Can
trip.
I bring up a campaign we attempted to do?
Sure.
That I still want to do. Is it my campaign?
No.
Oh.
It's the one that we did last summer. That I don't know
Pages?
what's happening with it. Yeah.
I know what happened with
Oh no. But
This is tea for later.
we were in like
I don't know.
we were like what 10 minutes in or something. Keisha threw like a battle at us, and you guys died.
Oh yeah, that's the very first session.
Oh
Yeah, that's
yeah.
first
Oh
time we
yeah.
It's like, I'm not gonna fudge any of the rolls and all that stuff. And then yeah, we died and we're like, bro, you know we're level 1, right? We have like 10 HP.
You guys are like, I'm gonna fight these things. I'm like, I'm gonna stay underneath this truck.
Yeah, the only reason we were mad about that is just the fact it was literally the first session. We're all level 1, literally children. We're literally playing children.
Yeah.
And she instantly killed us. And we're like, Kasia, you can't just kill us in the first session like that. Like, now it's like, I was
Yes,
so
I
excited.
can.
Like, I was literally there, like,
Keisha,
so
if you're
excited.
listening- Wait,
How
Keisha, if
dare
you're
you.
listening, we love you. However, what the fuck?
Yeah, we love you, but don't do that again. Because, like, I was so excited to play this character. Like, I don't care if my character eventually dies, but don't do it in the first fucking session.
Yeah.
Don't do that to
We played
me.
it for a little bit.
It was so sad because like my person was the last survivor of that like,
Yeah, you literally
No,
had to
there was
watch
another
us
one.
all.
There's
You
an
literally had to watch
NPC.
us all die.
and like I had to protect the NPC because the NPC was wanting to go and like help. I'm like, no, you're gonna fucking die.
And literally, I think the whole thing was that Spook had gone in to attack because they were basically trying to kidnap another kid who was our friend. And I was like, well, shit, I don't want my friend to just go off on their own and try to fight them. So I guess I'll go help. And then we all ended up dead. That was very upsetting. It's okay. I ended up making another character who ended up being very fun to play.
I know, I don't even remember my first character's name.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean,
It's
mine was,
fine.
yeah, that's awkward.
It's okay. Well, I'm gonna finish this campaign so we can do it. Like I said, it's just this one shot. So at least then that's one thing you'll get to finish.
I know, we started doing a campaign, like, early 2021? No. It was, like, end of 2020 into early 2021 we ended it. But, like, we just started doing it, and I want to get back into that one because I had so many cool ideas for it, and I still think it's a really cool idea.
Is that the one that I came into?
Yeah, that's the one you came into, but
I
I
had
want to
such a cool
restart it.
character too.
I know.
I love
I
that
want
one.
to tell you his story because he has such a cool story. Well, okay, that sounds like I just made Emma's backstory. We worked together where I was like, okay, I had a really cool idea. Wait, no, I can't say this because Jess is here.
Yeah, we can't talk about it because we haven't done it yet. But just know,
No.
Camus was a really cool character.
Yeah, I had a really cool idea, and I was like, "Hey Emma, I have this cool idea. Like, if you do this one thing in your backstory, it would help me do this really cool thing." And you're like, "Yeah, I've got no backstory. Let's do it."
Yeah, literally, I was like, I have this cool character, but I have no backstory for him. So yeah, sure,
So,
let's
like,
do this.
I just made one aspect of it, and then Emma like did the rest, kind of thing.
Yeah, I just basically started building on top
Yeah.
of that. You gave me one thing, and I just started building off it. It was like, here's this other idea I have, this other thing,
then-
this other thing. That's so much.
Kasia and I came up with her character. We were floating in my pool after work one day. It was like a sudden like, "Hey, you want to come over for a swim?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." So we're floating in the pool and we're making her character, and she has such a cool backstory as well. Want to do this campaign? It's
That's
summer.
okay.
We could.
Let's say we gotta get the gang back together.
Please.
Finally message the D&D Discord and be like, hey guys, what's up?
Hey guys, we're bored.
Guess what?
You
Yeah.
wanna do things?
Thursday nights. Let's go.
Okay, can I talk about my actual dice obsession though?
Go ahead, Emma.
And then I want to talk about my dice curse.
True, because so I mentioned
don't
this at the
have any
beginning.
Dice yet.
Oh, we gotta take you to get dice.
Yeah, because that's what I've been meaning to go do, and we've just been so busy.
I'll take you to the
recently.
mall and we'll take you to my favorite stores.
Can you take
so,
me as well?
Of course. We'll all
Oh,
go, it'll make it a little day
yes.
trip. We'll get some
Thanks,
dice.
Mom.
Oh my god, I'm gonna go on a trip!
Yay! So at the beginning, I mentioned that the whole reason I wanted to do this is because I didn't buy dice while I was at the store, because I have an absolute like just addiction to dice. Like there's like a joke with in a lot of D&D groups and stuff. There's always that one person who's just obsessed with dice. I'm that person. So people usually call him like the dice goblin and stuff, but I have literally started calling myself the dice dragon because I at this point like I hoard dice. I have this huge bag that I keep it all in. It's Laura Bailey's bag of holding that Laura Bailey's from Critical Role. So it's this thing because she also loves collecting dice. So it's this huge thing that can hold like up to 70 sets. So
Yeah, it's big.
I have actually lost count of how many sets I actually have now. Because after 20, I stopped counting.
You should figure that out because I'm curious.
I know I should go and count them, but it'd just be so much clacking and loud noise and stuff. But maybe I'll count them in next episode. I'll do a quick update
we'll
and be
just
like, so
tweet
here's
it.
how many. Yeah, I'll tweet it. But yeah, there's so many
Here's my
plus.
tweets. You tell me how much you have, and I'll tweet it out.
Okay.
Jess will tweet it.
You gave me the Twitter. You
Yes.
have the Instagram and the TikTok.
Wait,
which is
quickly.
dead.
Quickly,
Anyways.
I logged into the Twitter account, and then like I don't know, a couple minutes later, someone was like, "Okay, which one of you logged into the Twitter?"
It was so funny because like I figured it was probably Spook, but I'm like, all right, which one of you was it? Who just logged in?
It was me. Sorry.
But anyways, back to the dice. So yeah, I have a lot of dice, and one day I went to the mall with Jordan, who's been on the podcast a couple of times now, and it was so funny
Captain
because I
Spinny.
literally, Captain Spinny, I literally said like I was saying to myself I shouldn't get dice, I shouldn't buy them, and I was so good about it. And the end of the time we were there, she went, "You want to go into FG Bradley's and look at dice?" And I was like, ah shit, yeah, I want to go look
He
at
knows the way
dice.
to your heart.
I
He knows the way to
she
your
does.
goddamn heart.
She does. And she was literally the one who suggested it. I was like, yeah, I do. And I ended up going in and buying a set of metal dice, which if you don't know how expensive metal dice are, they can be like, they start at like $40. I think the set I bought was about $45. My
You wanna
first
go?
really,
Yeah.
it was my first really nice set of, because I have metal dice, but they are cheap ones that aren't that good. But they were these really nice set of metal dice. They're this nice like brass kind of color, and I just was like, even Jordan was like, yeah, those look pretty cool. And I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna buy them, fuck it. So like I have so many sets of dice, plus I have a giant D20, which actually when I was DMing I used it whenever you do a really big important roll or something. It'd be like, here's the D20. Here's the D20 the size of a baseball, roll it. I think
So,
now that I have I
my-
would like to say though, I think now that I have the dice tower, if I'm DMing and people have to do important rolls, like they actually can use it, I may tell them to use a dice tower now, but yeah, I have a lot of dice.
My issue with dice is that I can't roll above a 10 at all. I think I roll like a natural 20 once every 10 games or something like that.
What a nerd.
I don't know, and it's funny because my sister's campaign, not my sister, like my brother-in-law's campaign, I guess. They laugh at me because they get like I don't know, like 28, 25, 17. I'm like 4. In my defense, though, we have one player, and his character has low wisdom, I think it is. He has like a really low stat for, or I guess she has a really low stat for one of them. And she once rolled like a -2.
Oh no.
Like, oh
Uh,
dear. What
Like, wow.
happened?
It's like, wow, you really... Because I should explain, anyone who doesn't know, if you roll a 1 on a d20, that's like a nat 1, and that is like, you literally do the worst at whatever it is you're trying to do. Like, say, like, you're rolling because you're trying to see if you can quietly pick up, like, a knife off a table. You roll it... Yeah, you roll you roll a nat 1. Then basically what happens is you just completely miss the table. You crash into it and make the loudest noise possible, and you are now laying on the ground in a pile of knives that are poking at you. That's basically what happened, whereas if you roll a nat 20, it would be like you took it as if literally it didn't even exist, as if it hadn't even been on the table.
Yeah, you automatically succeed.
Yeah,
much.
so that's what happened. So getting a -2,
Because you roll, and then you have modifiers, and like those modifiers add to your roll, so you get different numbers. That's how you get like 28 when you are rolling a d20.
Yeah.
Which is a 20-sided die. So yeah, he rolled, and his character got like -2 on a roll.
Yeah. That's just so that's how you know that was a really, really bad time for them. I can't even imagine what would have happened, like...
I think it was a saving throw, I'll be honest with you, so they just took full damage.
Oh.
It's okay, she's a little tiny kobold, and like, she's indestructible.
Yeah, I remember too when you first started teaching me D&D and how scared I was because it all seemed so like... It seemed like so much, like, because there's a set of dice and you get 7 dice, all of them are for different things. D20 is like the most important one, but the rest of them you do need. And there's like a million things you need to know, character sheets and everything. You have to have a ton of stuff with stats, your inventory, if you have spells, you need to have that, and like all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I just remember being like, this is so overwhelming, there's no way I'm gonna remember this, and now here I am teaching other people how to do it. So like...
And I think that helps as well, like, if you are interested in D&D but don't know where to start, like, go listen to some podcasts and all that.
Yeah.
Because that will help you learn the rules.
It definitely does help.
I would recommend the Adventure Zone.
I would also recommend the Adventure Zone, but also Dungeons and
They've got
Daddies,
nice...
but also Dimension 20.
Yeah. Critical Role is good, however, it's a lot to digest.
Yeah.
It might not be the best starting point.
Yeah, I find Critical Role is better for if you've already started playing D&D or you already do play it. But it is still very good.
3 hours long.
Yeah, sometimes longer. There are some that are like 5.
Yeah.
Like whereas the Adventure Zone, Dungeons and Daddies, those are like about an hour each. So it's like a good podcast episode length.
Okay, I want to finish this off with the story.
Mm-hmm.
I love story.
Yes. So, in my brother-in-law's campaign, we have this... Okay, so I need to give some more context. We're in like this sort of like post-apocalyptic world, but it's like the entire world, like the average temperature is -40 degrees Celsius. I guess it's the same in Fahrenheit as well. But it's a completely like frozen world and all that stuff. And so like there's a livable world, I say that in air quotes, where everyone lives, and there's this thing called the Fringe, which is like completely uninhabitable. Like it's so cold that like we went in there, like if we don't move, we die pretty much. But it's just, yeah, it's so cold, no one lives there, but we had to go there because, you know, the D&D campaign's name is Beyond the Fringe. So how we play it is like we're in a big, like, it's pretty much a tank, and we move like 4 squares on the map that my brother-in-law has. We move 4 squares a day, and then we have all these supplies and all that stuff. And my sister made a big Excel sheet for this because she's a nerd. Big Excel sheet, and it has like all our supplies. Like we have to knock off however many like fuel we use like each day and all that stuff, like how much food we use and all that stuff, blah blah blah. And so we have a slot for alcohol because one, my sister's character Matty is an alcoholic, so let's start there. And then our Lyria, I think her name is, our mechanic. She is her like terms for going with us is that she needed to be drunk all the time, or else she wasn't going to be able to work on the snow rover. So we had to keep alcohol for her as well, so she could, make sure we didn't die, be on the fringe. And so, one of the guys, he updates, like, the fuel and all that stuff every day, and, like, my sister moves the stuff on the map and all that stuff, blah, blah. And so he was doing whatever on the Excel sheet, and he noticed for a quick second that there was one box that, like, quickly flashed, and he saw, like, hidden text, pretty much, because it was, like, white text on a white background, and he was like, hang on. Like, to my sister, he was like, hang on, I saw that. What is that? And in character, what happened was so that was Torfin. I think it was Torfin. He plays two characters, but I think it was Torfin. Discovered Maddie's secret stash of alcohol that my sister was keeping track of on the Excel sheet, and was added to, like, our total weight and all that stuff, and, like, how much supplies we had. And he just saw the white text flash briefly because my sister was fixing something on it. And that's how he discovered that Maddie had brought a secret stash of alcohol onto the snow rover and was fucking with our weight.
Oh no. It sounds like something one of Jess's characters would do.
The thing is, Maddie had brought alcohol, which was 50% alcohol, without telling us.
Oh god.
And then Maddie was like, yeah, I used Torfin's gold, it's fine. The thing is, because Torfin's loaded because he sold his soul to capitalism, pretty much. He had a rocket, or like a fuck off cannon pretty much fired at him, and he was like, yeah, I'm fine.
You just reminded me of something from the campaign I DM'd. You're gonna hate me for bringing up.
Oh, Lord.
You remember Mincy's mansion?
Oh my god. I hated that place.
I know you did.
I walked in there, and I just wanted to find my way out because she was giving me the creeps. And every single door I walked through led me back to the same place.
Yeah, basically it was, well, I think it was like, what, our second session?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had gone, so basically in my campaign, it was basically a bunch of little islands that made up this kingdom, and this one island they went to was called Karis, which is basically like a desert. It was kind of like a Las Vegas type of thing, and a lot of entertainment stuff, and casinos, all that kind of stuff. But there was a place at the very top, at the very end, there was this big mansion that I think, who was it that went?
Went alone.
I think it was, sorry, who went alone?
I went alone.
No, didn't somebody go before you?
No,
and you went to go check on them?
And then other people joined.
Okay, so yeah, you went. And then, yeah, so she like, no, it wasn't. No, you were the last one to go. Because I remember you were the last one to go. It was, I believe it was, Justin who went first, along with, I think it was our friend Pumpkin. I think she went it. I think it was the two of them that went. Maybe even Kasia. So I think it was slowly the three of them had gone up. And they had gone in, and, like, Justin's character was, like, super bubbly and happy. So she was perfectly like, oh, you're giving me tea and comfy couches. Great. Let me hang out with this obviously very nice. Emo. Yeah, this obviously very nice lady. And the other two were kind of, like, suspicious. They're like, okay, we'll sit here, but they didn't drink the tea. And then you're like, okay, where did everybody go? So you went up to this mansion, and she opens the door, and she's just like, hi, how are you? Like, you want to come in? You were kind of like, I don't know if I want to come in. You could see the others, though.
Stranger danger.
And all three of them were like, don't come in, don't come in. And you're like, what? And she, like, shoved you inside. Like, because she was like a gnome, right? So she was small, not a lot of strength. So you were, and
I was a half orc.
Yeah, but the thing, she grabs you and pulls you in with this like otherworldly strength, right? Like, you were like, how the fuck she get me in? Shuts the door, and she's like, well, welcome, come join, drink tea. And you're like, of course, trying to find any way out. So you tried going back out the front door, but when you did it, you came back out you came out the door to the bedroom back into this living room. So every door you would go through, it just always would just bring you through another door straight back into the living room. And you ended up having...
Wasn't Justin's character, like, just drinking tea, having a good time?
Drinking tea, just like...
Going,
she's,
all these
yeah,
doors
she's like...
lead to the same place!
She's just sitting there on the couch, kicking her legs back and forth, drinking everyone's tea. Like, everyone who wasn't drinking tea, she was just taking it and drinking it. And then, so Mincy was like, oh yeah, the only way you can get out is by playing my game. And you're like, I don't want to play no stupid game, I want out! And then you all ended up playing the game anyways, and it was just basically a bunch of shit you had to go through, and it turned out at the end that Mincy wasn't actually a gnome, but was this... It was actually this, like, demon that had basically taken over the dead body of a gnome and was basically fucking with you guys. And once you finally beat it, you got this key that you, or a coin that you needed for the end, like all the way at the end. But it was a lot of stuff, and I just remember you absolutely just losing your shit every time you tried to go through a door. You were just like, why can't I get out? And I was laughing so hard I was crying.
Yeah.
It was so funny to me, and you were freaking out.
I can't say anything about her possessing a dead body because I was literally a necromancer.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I had found this type. I just remember I was looking through the monster manual for D&D, and I found this type of demon. It was basically almost like a zombie, but they can, like, possess dead, specifically dead bodies.
It was basically Kyle. I was like, who the hell's Kyle?
Really like a Kyle.
Yeah, it's kind of like Kyle. Who the fuck? No, but it was this demon that is kind of like a zombie, and they can, like, take over dead bodies and, like, possess them. So that was what she had done. She had basically... This demon had taken over this, like, gnome's body and was like, yeah, I'm this rich, cool person who owns the town. And then once you guys all finally got out, you all look and turn around, and suddenly this mansion that she'd been in is, like, abandoned and everything, and you're all just like, I want off this island. But you got
back here again.
But you got one of the coins you needed, so it's, you know, no one died.
I think the most panicked I ever felt during your campaign. We walked down into this big circular room. I think there was a map down there that we needed.
Oh, I know. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we walked down there and we're like, oh, sick, there's a map. Now, I'd like to mention that there's only one entrance or exit. So we find the map and then we hear someone walking down.
You should also mention there are these large, like, banister flag type of things surrounding the room. And it's just a big circular room.
Walking down and we're like, oh no. We're stuck in here. Uh-oh. Because the big bad evil guy was coming down. Like, oh god. It was a whole mess. I don't want to relive it.
Yeah, and then you all ended up hiding behind...
So stressed.
You all ended up hiding behind banisters, and I made you all roll stealth rolls, and Keija's character, Shozen, who was the funniest character, he was a bard.
Shozen was hilarious.
He was a bard, and he was a, what are they called?
Genasi?
Genasi, thank you. He was like, I think an earth Genasi.
No, that was an air Genasi.
Was it air? It might have been an air Genasi. But he was a Genasi, nonetheless, and he was a bard. I mean, he was so funny, but he was the only one who their stealth roll was too low, so it was basically like he just kept sticking his head out to look and see if anyone was there, and Oscar would like grab his head and pull him back.
Because I was invisible.
Yeah, because you had used a spell to make yourself invisible. It was either you or somebody had used it.
No,
but,
I had greater invisibility.
Right.
It was me.
Yeah, so you literally grabbed it and pulled it back. You're like, what the fuck are you doing?
I was like, get back to the... I'd like to also say that Shozen had a rat's tail.
Yeah. Shozen was a wild character, but god, he was funny.
There was one point where, I don't remember, we were like at a hospital or whatever. Like, we were the patients kind of thing. And, like, they had also, like, the party had separated and Shozen went somewhere. But, who was it? Like, it was... Like, it was, what was her name? Pumpkin's character.
I suddenly can't remember.
Yeah. Okay, but anyways, this is her character. And, like, she was back in the room and Shozen had already left. That's important, remember that. And she was saying something about, like, oh, she had amnesia and all that stuff, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, to whoever it was. I can barely remember this, but all I remember is that Shozen, like, met up with, like, a guard who was at the hospital.
I know what it was. You weren't at the hospital, you were at the military base.
Yeah.
And you guys had been in the infirmary at this military base, and Shozen had dressed in one of the military uniforms to try and, like, get through and pretend like, oh yeah, like, I'm totally meant to be here. And they walked right up to a guard at one of the towers they were trying to get into. And we're like trying to get in. And they tried to roll a deception and the guard
But no, you have to make sure that back in the infirmary where Shozen was not, like they were saying stuff about amnesia and all that stuff.
Yeah, they were all claiming
Right?
like, yeah, we have amnesia. Shozen had already left. But Shozen
Did not know that this was the plan of like, oh yeah, we have amnesia, remember that?
But Shozen goes up to this guard and is trying to be like, yeah, I'm supposed to be in here. You need to let me go through. Rolls deception, rolls really low. So the guard is like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, I've never seen you before. And then Shozen's response was, oh, amnesia. Oh, my head. Oh, and just like,
Which is like, he should not know about the amnesia at all.
But it was so
just,
funny.
Oh no, the amnesia.
But it was so funny, and I'm still laughing about it. It was so funny.
It was like dead silence, just, oh, the amnesia.
It still to this day makes me like just die. I thought it was so funny that I was like, even though Shozen technically shouldn't know this plan, I'm letting this happen because it's so funny. I'm just in my head, I was just like being like, yeah, Shozen knows nothing about the plan. He just started yelling about amnesia because that was the best he could come up with. And I was like, we were all just
you know what?
dying.
You know what's another thing? I made a meme out of this. You know the meme where it's like, it's Gru from Despicable Me? It's like, in terms of moon, we have no moon, or so whatever it is.
Yeah.
I made that, but I sent it to them, and I was like, in terms of bardic inspiration, we have no bardic inspiration. Because you know what Shozen would do? Not give us bardic inspiration. It got to the point where Oscar was like, you know what'd be cool right now? Bardic inspiration.
Anyways,
like, oh yeah.
it just
and then just wouldn't give it to us.
There were so many really funny moments in that campaign, though, and like that's again why I really miss just D&D in general, because there's so many funny moments like that where like you just can't plan these kind of things. The things people say on the spot when they just have to make it up as they go are so funny.
Like
What
Harry
do you
Harrelson.
wanna do? What do you want to do? I'm gonna take this bed.
Take this bed and it's coming with me. All right,
This is mine now.
sure. Me standing around having to distract everyone, keep them long enough just so that you can make it back to the fucking group that we're walking with.
While carrying a bed.
Literally. And just the fact that you're just
Were you
carrying a
with
bed
me?
along.
I was
Were
with
you with? Yeah.
Yeah, I was helping.
Oh, don't want to do this.
Fucking ridiculous.
I'd be
Anyways.
like, yeah, bed.
It was ridiculous.
Listen, man, we had to camp outside. There's no way I was gonna sleep on the ground.
That's fair.
I needed a bed.
Yeah, like your 8-year-old body would never recover.
didn't like almost everybody in that like group that was traveling sleep on that bed.
Yeah, I think because we
Like
were all
we
we were all still
somehow
kids.
just managed.
Because we were we were also kids, so we were like all
I
pretty
was
small.
the oldest. I was almost 12.
Yeah, I
I
was
think
like 10,
also
almost
some of the-
11.
I don't know if any of the other that was traveling with us
No,
came
this
as
was only the kids.
slept as well.
Yeah.
No, there were some kids in that group.
Oh, it's
No.
only our party then. Let's go with that.
Yeah, it was just but it was literally like, because we were all very small. Like, I remember my character, even though she was almost 11, she was still very small anyways. Like, she's just small
She
in
was an
nature.
asshole.
So, what?
I said I was an asshole,
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
which isn't too different from real life.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just to my final thoughts and everything on all of this is that I miss D&D. I want to play again. And if you're any one of my streamer friends and you're hearing this as this episode comes out and you want to try D&D or just want a group to play D&D with, DM me on Discord or Twitter and let me know. Thank you for listening to the Burnout Kids podcast. If you're interested in following any of us, you can follow me, Emma, on Twitter and Instagram at stopit_Emma. Or you can follow me on TikTok at stopitEmmaLive. Or you can follow me on Twitch and YouTube at stopitEmma. And if you're interested in following Jess, you can follow her on Twitter at tothemoon_Jess. Or you can follow her on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at tothemoonjessie. And if you're interested in following Spook, you can follow them on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Spookish with 2 Ks. And if you're interested in following the podcast, you can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at Burnout Kids Cast, or on Instagram and TikTok at Burnout Kids Podcast. For our audio listeners, we have a YouTube channel called the Burnout Kids Podcast. And for our YouTube watchers that want to listen on the go, we have a Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcasts. We release new episodes every other Saturday, so be sure to stop by for another episode with your local Burnout kids. Bye!